Hi, I'm really excited to share this book bit with you because it's so lovely. It's out of Angela Levin's book, Camilla. Now, the book Camilla did fly a little bit under the radar, and I'm surprised because it is so well written. It has so many great behind-the-scenes peeks. I mean, it is obvious to me that Angela Levin got great access to Camilla and by extension, Her Late Majesty. And so it just is quite a special book. There's so many great stories to share out of this book. Now, we're going to go back to a pandemic Christmas in 2020. And for the first time in over 3 decades, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip spent it at Windsor. They didn't go to Sandringham as per normal, and they just spent it together. And it was very warm and cozy, and I think it was really the most perfect final Christmas they could have had together as a couple. Now, Angela Levin describes it as quite a wonderful time for them to spend time together intimately and privately. And she does mention that Charles and Camilla also went to visit throughout that Christmas period. So I'll just read you a little snippet from the book. At Christmas 2020, because of the coronavirus pandemic, for the first time in more than 3 decades, Prince Philip and the Queen did not go to Sandringham. And then there's just this little bit. They were regularly visited by Charles and Camilla, and an insider told me that their time together was full of warmth, kindness, and emotion. Now, when Angela Levin says an insider told her, now this is just my opinion, but I suspect the insider is actually Camilla. I believe that they are genuinely good friends. At the least trusted companions or trusted acquaintances. But I think it goes a little more than that because I can see a real warmth through this book, and I can see that things have been shared with Angela Levin that have never been shared with anyone else before. So what a blessing. They had this wonderful, wonderful Christmas together. Now, we know that the new year, 2021, brought all sorts of horrors because, of course, that was when Harry and Meghan had their sit-down interview with Oprah Winfrey. But even sort of predating that was the fact that Prince Philip did actually fall ill, and he was taken off to King Edward VII Hospital in mid-Feb. Now, when he was taken to the hospital, he was actually treated and tested for a pre-existing heart condition, and things got quite serious very quickly. And at that point, Prince Charles was actually sent for. Now, the royal family and Prince Charles did get a little bit of criticism at the time because this was 2021 and hospital visits were still being restricted for a lot of people. Although a lot of people, I looked it up, a lot of people were allowed one sort of registered guest. And I presume that Prince Charles was that one registered guest because I'm not aware that the Queen actually visited Prince Philip in hospital. So the then Prince Charles went to visit his dad, and we'll just see what Angela Levin has to say about it because it's really quite moving. Charles stayed for about 30 minutes. It is believed Prince Harry wasn't mentioned. Good. Instead, Prince Philip advised his son on how to look after the Queen and the family after he'd passed away. He is also thought to have told Charles he realised he would not recover and he wanted to die in his own bed at Windsor. I think one of the loveliest things, though, was the fact that the then Prince Charles felt like nothing was left unsaid with his father. It was reported in Robert Jobson's book, Our King, also, of course, in this book, Camilla, that they had so many fantastic conversations. They'd come to a real understanding. And the then Prince Charles really did feel that nothing had been left unsaid. Isn't that a wonderful thing to have before your parent actually passes away? Prince Charles was so overcome with emotion that there were tears in his eyes as he was driven away from the hospital. Neither man knew if they would meet again. On the 3rd of March, Prince Philip was transferred to St Bartholomew's Hospital, and that's where he had his heart procedure, and then he was transferred back to Edward VII to recuperate. Now, of course, this was on the 3rd of March. Prince Harry and Meghan were part of the senior royals that were very definitely informed just how serious things were with Prince Philip. They knew he was undergoing a heart operation. They knew that he wasn't expected to really recover. and they went ahead 9 days later with the Oprah Winfrey interview, and it has been reported that they said that they didn't believe the messages they received about Prince Philip's health. They thought it was a ploy in order to stop them doing the Oprah Winfrey Dirty Laundry interview. Now, how warped and twisted would you have to be to believe that of your own family? So the Oprah Winfrey interview aired and Prince Philip did not see it. We're told by Giles Bramworth that he just had the general opinion that it was never a good idea to do an interview in any way that just spoke about yourself. He said you should always do an interview where your focus was on something you were trying to achieve or your focus was on others trying to help them. Now, one of the most moving things I think after Prince Philip died was actually the then Countess of Wessex reaction. Do you remember that? When you stopped and wound down the window and talked to people that were gathered to mourn Prince Philip. And she was so obviously genuinely moved. She so obviously genuinely loved Prince Philip. And you can sort of tell that he did take her under his wing. He was a great defender of people that he thought deserved defending. He was very loyal and very true. Actually, I was really interested to read that everyone thinks that when the then Prince Edward, well, he's still Prince Edward, but you know what I mean, now he's Duke of Edinburgh, when he quit the Royal Marines, everyone assumed that it was actually Prince Philip that gave him a really hard time, and it wasn't. It actually wasn't. It was the Queen was a little bit disapproving, but it was actually Prince Philip that walked with him to church the Sunday after it was announced that he was going to quit the Royal Marines and gave him his utmost support. And he actually told Prince Edward that he thought that it took enormous courage to realise he wasn't cut out for the Royal Marines and to take the step to quit and to go on to something that he was more suited for, or to go on seeking what he was more suited for. I think the role he's fulfilling now is clearly suitable for him. He really is thriving being Duke of Edinburgh, and I think he just has a true passion and love for that scheme that his father invented. And evidently, his father was incredibly proud of his achievements, and I just thought that was lovely. So you have, you know, Prince Edward and the then Countess of Wessex, Sophie, first ones there. Well, actually, they were there with the Queen when he passed away. And I'll just read you just that little snippet as well. The Countess of Wessex later told local well-wishers that Prince Philip slipped away peacefully, as if somebody took him by the hand, and off he went very, very peacefully. And that's all you want for somebody, isn't it? It is, Sophie. It's all you want for somebody. Gosh, she's a gorgeous woman. I just love her. She is such an asset to the royal family. And we'll give the last quote to our current king. He described his father as a very special person, and I quote, who was much loved and appreciated, and praised him for giving the most remarkable, devoted service to the Queen, to my family, and to the country for the last 70 years. Indeed. And I just thought it was lovely to imagine that final, really cozy, wonderful Christmas that wasn't sort of besmirched by any of the scandals that hit later in 2021. And yeah, I think it's a lovely Christmassy story, really, because we know that the final Christmas that Queen Elizabeth II had with her dear husband Philip was a very happy one. I'll see you again soon. Bye.